Okay, it is Tuesday, February 13th. We are out in the garage again. Last night we worked on the intake, drilling these holes, getting them tapped for our quarter-inch NPT fittings, and then drilling the backside so we could have some water flow through here. Obviously, not a very big hole as compared to the front, but it will allow coolant to pass through there, which is all we really need in this situation. So tonight we're going to try and mock up the rest of this and get maybe these lines even cut and plumbed, whatever. But we've got to attach the intake manifold to the heads, which are currently in this box. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the 400 block. That, as you can see, needs a lot of attention. I'll probably actually do that after this. Yeah, after I do these coolant things. While it's on this, I'm going to leave it on the stand. Hopefully get it all cleaned up to the best of my ability before my engine comes back from the machine shop. It's got this piston and this piston are seized in the bores. It's going to need to go to the machine shop and get bored out, but I'm going to try and get the rest of the pistons out. The crankshaft's seized because it spun a bearing, and I want to take all the mains off and try and get the crank out and all the pistons that I can out, and then maybe soak these bores that are really nasty down in WD-40 and degreaser and whatever, try and get the pistons out of them as cleanly and easily as possible and give it a little bit of love. But for tonight, all we're going to be doing is setting my heads on here, and then putting the intake manifold on top so that we can plumb up my cooling lines. So that's what we're going to be about tonight. What else? I don't think anything else. Valve train components for the cam, the proper springs and retainers should be here tomorrow. So tomorrow evening I might be setting up the springs in the head. I've got some shims, but I don't have a lot of shims, so we're going to try and see if we can achieve the correct install height with the shims that we have and with springs. I do have a gauge for measuring that. It's this little guy here. See if we can get that to open. Yeah, so it spins out the bottom so that you can I believe you set the retainer in the top here, and then you measure what install spring height you want, set it in there, and make sure that you can achieve that. So we're going to try that tomorrow night, and then if we can't with what shims we have, we'll order some shims off of Amazon, because they'll probably get here quicker than ordering them off of Summit or Jegs or anything like that. So anyway, we are going to mount the heads on this and get going on that. Okay, so the heads are setting on there. I've got 4 studs, these 2 in the corner, and then 2 center ones right here and here in there, so they're not going to fall off. They look really nice. I'm so happy with these heads so far. Haven't run them yet, but really happy with the way they look and how everything is turning out with them so far. So I just set my Felpro 1206 gasket up here and got it trimmed up around the coolant passage, and that is going to work. This template is going to work on both sides. This is a used gasket, This is what I took off my old setup. So it's perfectly fine to have this cut up like this and use it as a template. I'm going to take this gasket and the intake manifold, set them over here on the bench, and get this marked up and hopefully milled down in the areas where it needs to be so that we can make this work out. So that's what we're going to be working on right now. Okay, so we got 1/2 milled, and we'll see how it lines up. I think anything that's going to sit up a little bit. I don't know if you can see from that camera angle. I'll have to move the camera. Wow. Let me just admire that for a second, how good that looks in there. Anyway, okay. So, can you see it? Right there. That's going to work just fine. So we'll just have to do the same right over here. Just take a little bit out of this corner, or top edge, I guess. Right there, to clear the hole there. But that should work. This thing looks sick. Too bad you can't see the rockers and the stud girdles with the valve covers installed. Maybe what I'll do tonight, as well as sorry, I'm putting another glove on here, as well as milling the intake and getting this set up if I have time, is I got to take the baffles out of here if I want to run these valve covers. Shouldn't be a real big problem, but obviously the baffle is going to hit on the stud girdle right here. So that's not gonna work, but this is basically what it's gonna look like. I think I'm gonna get a carb spacer because I'm gonna have room now. So I think I'll get like a 2-inch spacer, 4-hole spacer, and then the car will be sitting on top of there. It'll have some pretty AN lines going from here to here to here. Oh yeah, this thing's gonna look real nice. I'm excited for it. Really, really happy with how everything has been going so far. I can't wait to get my stuff back from the machine shop and start putting this thing together, but I do have other things to keep me busy, obviously. I'm making do with what I got. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and mill that other side and get that ready to go with the coolant lines. Okay, so we've got all this stuff clearanced and whatnot, but it appears we are going to need a 45-degree elbow coming out of the head just to come up, and that'll move this. Let me take these off, because there's no way we can fit a hose with it right there. We can't tighten the fitting to get the hose to come through here, and even if we did, the valve covers are going to be coming off on an opposite angle from this, and the hose would have to be into the valve cover. So what we're going to do, let me get this guy off too. So we're going to get 45-degree elbows, 2 of them, 1 for either side. And that'll bring us up and out like this. And that should give us enough clearance to go around the outside with both parts and just have it thread in straight like this. I think that's what we're going to go with. But we can still get the hoses from here to here hoses from here to here and from here to here done tonight. We can do that. We can get all that set. So we're gonna go. Okay, so we're done for tonight. We've got fittings hooked up from our front bypass to our T-fitting. We need our 45-degree offset to go in there. That'll work great. Give us a little more space to run this line. And then to the back, these are in. We got thread tape here and here. So this side's all good to go. I did make this line just a little bit too long, so I've got, here's my nice mess. So I've got plenty of line left, so I can either trim that one down or make a whole nother one. I'll probably just end up, depending on what these ends look like when I take one of them out, trim it down about an inch or so. But this line back here is good to go. That one will work just fine. It'll have a little bit of a bow in it, but that'll be just fine. Yeah, so here we have it. Those are our coolant bypass hoses. We got our intake all clearanced for everything. And yeah, looking pretty sweet in my opinion. Oh man, I love these heads. They look great. They're just that smooth. That looks nice. So yeah, that's our Chevy 400 cubic inch small block sitting underneath our top end. Yeah, that's it for tonight.